computer, but what am I recording? That's the question. I'm hoping I'm recording the shared screen. So let's just start. I have a little video for you to watch about, this is a teacher who's getting his students ready to read the book. You've already read it, but I just want you to watch this little video. It's very short, and then we'll talk about it.
May I please share the link?
A good idea. Let's share the link before we do any more. And then I'm going to put it on full screen. I should say, welcome to week 7. This is the last week before fall break. So this week is a little bit less work than other weeks. And now let's see if I can get this video to play. See, this one seems to be working better than the other one. Close that. Now I want to make it full screen. Maybe you can't make it full screen unless I go like this. There we go. Now you don't see, do you see the video? Or do you see the slideshow? I think I have to change the screen sharing. Hold on. I have to share the screen here. Okay. So you see the video now? I'm going to start playing it.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the video guide for Chapter 7 of Outliers, the ethnic theory of plane crashes. Let's get started. In this chapter, Gladwell is going to talk about Korean Airlines. At one point in this airline's history, they were the leading airline in plane crashes. Gladwell is going to examine some of the studies done about these plane crashes and others and make an argument about why this happens. How is it that one airline would have these kinds of accidents? He's going to investigate what went wrong in this plane crash of Korean Airlines in Guam that you see pictured here, as well as in some other plane crashes throughout history. He's also going to examine the plane crash of Avianca Airlines Flight 52 and look at the black box recordings for both of these crashes. In fact, this next recording is actually from the actual Avianca Airlines Flight 52 audio.
Avianca 052 Heavy New York to the main climb, maintain 3,000. We're climbing up 10,000 and we're running out of system. Okay, fly heading at 080 and Avianca 052 Heavy, I'm going to bring you about 15 miles northeast and then turn you back onto the approach. Is that fine with you and your fuel? I guess so, thank you very much. Avianca 52, climb, maintain 3,000. Negative, sir, we're just running out of fuel. We're good, okay, 3,000, I'll be good. Okay, turn left heading 310, sir. 310, Avianca 052. Avianca 052, we just lost 2 engines and we need the priority, please. Avianca 052, turn left heading 250, intercept the localizer. Avianca 052, you have enough fuel to make it to the airport? Avianca 052, radar contact lost.
This was a result of what you just heard. What Gladwell points out is that all of these plane crashes had one common factor, and that's that people who knew things were in trouble and knew things weren't going well didn't speak up and make their point. If you listen to that recording, there was no urgency in the pilot's voice, even though they knew they were going to crash. In fact, the air traffic controller that they were speaking with had no clue that it was as big a problem as it was. Gladwell is going to suggest that this is the problem. He's going to tell us about this, Hofstede's cultural dimensions. And he's going to show us evidence that the cultural backgrounds of the people in the planes when these crashes occurred had everything to do with why the crashes occurred, because they didn't speak up to make their point known that there was a problem. When one of their superiors argued with them or didn't understand them clearly or didn't accept their warnings, they simply moved on and didn't make their point. He's going to talk specifically about this power distance index and how both South Korea, and Colombia are high power distance index countries. What this means is that these countries have a very high regard for authority. They are less likely to speak up when there is a problem. They're more likely to just let the bosses, let who's ever in charge be in charge, and not say anything if there's a problem. On the other end of that spectrum, we have the United States, Germany, England. These countries have a low PDI, power distance index. That means we are much more likely as Americans with an American cultural background to speak up to our bosses, even if we think we're going to get in trouble, if we think they're doing something wrong. We see ourselves much more as equals. You can look at some of the other things that he measured, like how individualistic is a society. Americans, the most independent, the most we're on our own kind of a thing, and how dependent on one another society is. You've got China and South Korea more on this spectrum. Uncertainty avoidance, that's like not wanting to feel like they're uncertain, avoiding uncertainty. High over here, we're lower. We don't mind a little uncertainty here. And how all of these things contributed to make two airlines struggle a lot more than they needed to just because of their cultural histories and backgrounds. Your job is to check out this strategy log, sorry about that, and make sure you identify one strategy for each section of Chapter 7. There's 14 chapters, and some of them are a little weird. Some of them are just him putting out the script of what went on in the cockpit, in which case writing out that script is a strategy. So you're going to have to be a little creative about which strategies you identify on some of these sections. Finally, I'm going to ask you to think about something called mitigated language, and Gladwell is going to talk about this a little bit. But I want you to be ready to discuss this. I want you to think about times where you have talked around something or softened up how you said something, which is basically the same thing as mitigating your language. And I want you to talk about how and why we do this. And when we get into class, we'll discuss how and why we do that sometimes.
So that is, I really wanted you to see that piece about mitigated language. Let me stop sharing for a second so I can get back to my PowerPoint the way I want to. And let's move on. We still don't have a lot of people, so I'm going to wait a little longer to take the attendance. No. Okay, so I have all these questions that I want you guys to look at. Let me go ahead and use slideshow. And then I have to share the screen. Okay, share the screen first. This one. Then go back here and play from current slide. Okay, so I have a lot of questions that we're going to work on together. Okay, and so I'm going to divide you up so we can go into groups and work on. Roya, I don't know if you're going to be able to go into a group, but let's hope. See if we can do this in groups. So take a picture of this slide. Everybody got a picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then take a picture of this slide. There's 15 questions. You're not going to do all questions, but you need all questions. Okay, everybody got 2 pictures?
No, ma'am. Can you please go back?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. I got it.
Okay, and then everybody's got this one here. So there's 15 questions, but I'm going to divide you up into groups and give you groups of 5 questions each. Okay, so we have 5, 10, and 15. So I'll put you into 3 groups. And I'll give you about 15 minutes to find the answers in your text. Use your text to find the answers to the oh, what happened here? Use the text to find the answers. All the answers are pretty clearly stated in the text. All right, so you've got the questions. So now I'm going to stop sharing so I can put you into breakout rooms. And we'll see how this goes. So room 1, we'll do, so we have 5, 10, 15, right? So we need 3 rooms. Yeah. Okay, so I've made the rooms and I've put, there's like 5, 6 people in a room and you're each gonna take, so room 1, when you're in room 1, you're gonna do questions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? Room 2 does 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Room 3 does 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, okay? Everybody got it? So I'm gonna open the rooms and you'll see if you're in 1, 2, or 3, okay? And work together, and you don't need to write anything down, just take notes, so when we come back, we can talk about it, okay? Does everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Raya, I hope it works for you today. She always has a problem with the rooms. Okay, go to your room. And if you don't know what room you're in, let me know, but Freshta, Madi, Marcel, Safiula, Zara, both Zara's in room 1. Not good. Room 2 is Ahmad, Bibi, Ravina, Razia, Roya, and Shiva. Room 3 is Hamidullah, Husna, Lida, Noria, and Sahar. Roya, if you can't go in a room, your group is. Roya, you're in group 2. So you can go ahead and work on your own on questions 6 to 10, okay? Because I cannot get you in a room. I can try, but I don't know. So everybody will be coming back from their rooms and we will have a discussion about the questions. Just in case you're watching this remotely. They'll be coming back in 2 minutes. Hi, Nuria. Everybody's going to come back in a minute, so just stay here. Hi, Roya. I see you got to participate in the breakout room today. That's good.
No, miss, I couldn't participate
Oh.
in the break room.
You went there, though.
Yeah, I'm doing alone.
Everybody will be coming back now. So is everybody back now? I think so. Welcome back. And now we're going to go over the answers to the question. Do you guys see the discussion questions? So what I'd like to do is you have 5 to 6 people in each room, and I'd like each person in the room to answer one question. So if we start with room 1, who would like to take question number 1?
Can I say?
Go ahead, Freshta.
Where did the Korean airline flying 801 crash? And it was Guam, Korea.
Yeah, no, Guam was in the Philippines. Well, actually, it's part of the US, but it's near the Philippines, but it's a US territory. Okay, how about question number 2? Who would like to take that from room 1?
Yes, may I answer?
Go ahead, Sarah F.
Yeah, question number 2 is, how was the pilot of flight 801 described? He described the bad communication in decisions making,
But
because of
how was
that
he
most of the
described?
flights are crashing.
How was he described?
He was saying like
Sorry, I lost the PowerPoint.
most of plane crashes happen when there is bad communication in decision making.
But that's not describing the pilot.
He was Soren Ritwet, a veteran pilot who studies plane incidents.
So he's a highly experienced and competent pilot, and he had over 9,700 hours of flying time. That's how you would describe the pilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What kind of person was he? So he was highly competent, he has a lot of experience, and he had a lot of flying time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who would like to try number 3 from room 1? Anybody from room 1? Madi, Marcel, Safila, Zara, Jay. Any volunteers?
Yes, ma'am. How many crashes had Korean Airlines experienced in the past 20 years? It says in the chapter that after 1999, the crashes were decreased to 1, I guess.
But how many
was
did they
something
have
like that.
prior to that?
Prior to that, there were so many, like I think there were 3 or 4.
No, more than that.
Sorry.
Anybody know the answer to
Okay.
that one? How many crashes did they have before they revamped their system? Nobody knows. Okay, 9. They had a total of 9 crashes in 20 years. And statistically, that is very high. That's really bad. So that's why it was so noticeable. Okay, who wants to try number 5 from room 1? We have, who is Gert Hofstede and what does he research?
Ma'am, for
Razia, go ahead. But you weren't in that room, were you? Were you in room 1?
It was not me, miss, sorry.
Who's in room 1 that could answer the question about who Gert Hofstede was? So we have Zara J, Safiullah, Makti, and who didn't answer yet, but if anybody wants,
ma'am,
okay, go ahead.
this question wasn't in the chapter, so I searched it on Google.
Okay.
It says he was a Dutch social psychologist.
And what was his research about? It was in there.
Which I guess in the chapter was about how related to plane crashes, something.
So the big thing that he did was he researched cultural dimensions and their impact on behavior. So he was the one, when I showed you this graph, this one over here, this is all his work on cultural, the cultural reasons for crashes. And we're going to talk about that in more detail in a minute. Okay, so let's go to room 2 and do question number 6. Who would like to, from room 2, answer question number 6? What was the cause of the Avianca crash?
Can I answer?
Go ahead.
Okay. There were many reasons, like the weather was not good, there was dense fog and high winds, and also there was a problem with the autopilot system, which automatically switched off. And also, a veteran pilot said that that was fuel exhaustion.
That's the reason. They ran out of gas.
Yeah,
Yeah, they ran out of fuel.
yeah, that's right.
And I don't know if you could hear the flight plan, but if you read in the book about how they had the conversation, it didn't seem to me like the fuel was important from the conversation. So that would be question number 7. What is the Colombian pilot's tone when communicating the plane's problem? How did he communicate the problem to the air traffic controller? Does anybody want to take that on from room 2?
As I was read, and yesterday I read it, and today I couldn't find it. And as I remember, the Colombian tune, because their language sounds was different, and I think that as I remember, the Colombian pilot tune during the communicating when the crashes happen was like different, or ignoring the problem, and they wanted to calm themselves down.
Yeah, so the if you read on page 198 and 199, the transcript of the communications, it says, do you have enough fuel? And he says he doesn't answer the question, the pilot. And the other pilot says, we're running out of fuel, sir. And then another pilot says, did you already advise that we don't have fuel? And the pilot says, yes, sir, I already advised him. And then the captain says, good. But it's like they're running out of fuel, and the answer good doesn't fit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they should have said, help, we're running out of fuel, help, help. And then they could have maybe been routed to a closer airport and the accident could have been avoided. So I'm going to give you the answer to number 8 because I doubt that you probably could get the answer. So the Colombian pilot's tone was cautious. He didn't want to say, I'm out of fuel. He was just, his co-pilot told the pilot, you're out of fuel, but he did not communicate that to aircraft traffic control. And the co-pilots didn't say anything. And the air traffic control was very direct. And he says, are you running out of fuel? And there was no answer. So that was a problem right there. So number 9, who is Surin Ratwat and what is his research?
May I answer, ma'am?
Yes, please, Shiva.
Yes, Surin Ratwat was a Sri Lankan-born Canadian, and his research was about the reason behind the plane crash. And in also his research, he found out that many of the victims of the plane crash were South Asian people.
Say that again.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear your last section.
The last part I told you that he also find out in his research that many of the plane research that the plane crash victims were South Asians.
Oh, they're mostly from Asia. Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah. So there's some connection between Asia and communication. Okay. And number 10, what is mitigated speech? This is really important to this chapter, mitigated speech. And I think you probably use a lot of this a lot of times. So who knows what mitigated speech is in group 2? Nobody? Some of you.
Sorry, Mom, I'm on the way, but I have a little information about this.
Okay, go ahead. Give us what you have.
About mitigated speech, it is a kind of, it's a very polite way of when you are asking someone, and when we want to show our more respect and polite to someone, we use this mitigated speech. For example, there are more examples when we want to talk with our instructor or when we want to talk with our boss. We use this kind of speech to show more of our polite and respect. For example, when we want to say someone, for example, when we want to be with our friends, when we want to say them, we want to go to the park, so we tell them, let's go to the park, for example, in a very polite way. And also when we want to say someone, turn right, so we tell them, let's turn right, in a very polite way. It was my concept that I get from mitigated speech, ma'am.
Yes, that's very good, actually. It's when Americans are not good at this. It's like we always, when I meet with somebody from Afghanistan, they always start off with, hello, how are you? How are you feeling? How is your family? We go through all this stuff. And then they ask the question. When Americans get on, we ask the question first. We don't say hello. We don't say anything. And so we don't use any mitigated speech. And that's exactly what mitigated speech is. Going around trying to be soft, not getting to the point directly. It's what we call mitigated speech. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Sometimes I think that I want to learn from Afghan people because I like to be more soft than I am, but it's just different. So I want to talk about number 11, and this would be room 3. I wonder if you guys were able to answer the question, what are Hofstede's dimensions? Did anybody get to answer that question?
Yes, may I answer, ma'am?
Yes, please do.
The first one is individualism, collectivism scale. The second was uncertainty avoidance, and the third was power distance index, or PDI.
Yeah, and power distance was something they talked about in the book. And so number 12 will be easy for somebody in room 3. What is PDI?
Can I say, ma'am?
Yes, please.
PDI stands for Power Distance Index. Power distance is concerned with attitudes toward hierarchy.
Right, power. So whether you expect that power is distributed equally or unequally. So yeah, that was good. Number 13, what is an example of a country with low PDI and high PDI?
Can I answer?
Can somebody else from room 3 answer? Maybe not. Okay, go ahead.
United States, Airlines, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand.
Has what, high or low?
A low.
And who has a high PDI?
Let me see now.
Think about the countries that had the accidents.
I think Brazil, South Korea, Morocco, Mexico, and Philippines.
And what about, where do you think Afghanistan falls on the scale of PDI? Low or high?
I don't know, ma'am.
Anybody have any idea? If a low PDI is there's equal power amongst people, and a high PDI is that the power is unequal, where would you say in general the cultural Afghanistan's PDI tends to be? High or low?
High.
High, yeah, probably pretty high, because there's a power structure between people, right? Okay, and so number 14, Gladwell's opinion, why do plane crashes happen? Can anybody in group 3? This is a hard question. Why do plane crashes happen? We've already stated there are many reasons, right?
May I answer, ma'am?
Go ahead.
because of accumulation of small issues and malfunctions and errors by the captain and the co-pilot.
And bad communication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any accident that happens isn't because of one issue. It's usually a combination of many issues, but communication is critical. And when you have different cultural backgrounds talking to each other, they don't have the same communication strategies. So if we wanted to take what I just said and reword it to answer question number 15, what do you think is necessary in order to land planes in stressful situations? What is the most critical thing that people need to do well in order to land a plane in a stressful situation? Let's imagine that everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. What is left to land a plane in a stressful situation? Any ideas? No ideas? So I want to say the answer is communication. When you're got a lot of problems going on, you have to communicate clearly, right?
First of all, on that time, we shouldn't lose our confidence, and then we should follow the guidelines.
And communicate clearly, Ravina, even
Yeah.
if it hurts somebody's feelings, right? You have
Yes,
to communicate very
it's
clearly.
important to communicate it very clearly.
Yeah. So that is,
Yeah.
and I want to say the reason why I picked this chapter was because it's all about cultural communication and how when you don't communicate clearly, things can go wrong. And the communication was between the US and another country, and the US were doing their thing and the other country wasn't. So I don't know what's going on with my PowerPoint here. I've got some colors going. I don't know why that is. Okay, so I have some words here in context. Great job on doing this. I know that it was a really long reading. That's why I gave you the summary. I gave you the audio so you could listen to it and the text. Just let me know later on, maybe in an email or just however, if you want to do something like this again, just for the fun of it, I'll pick something else we can talk about. But I thought that this was a great way to have a nice class at the end of before fall break. So I do have a few words in context, and these are from your vocabulary words. Now I want to tell you that some of you did not follow my instructions. You did not guess the meaning of the word. I can tell what a dictionary definition is. Guessing is, you can tell when a person guesses the meaning. And the reason why I'm trying to focus on guessing the meaning is because when you are taking a test, like say a test to get into the university in a US university or a British university, the reading tests are timed. And you do not have time to look up the meaning, and you can't look up the meaning of words. You have to guess the meaning of words. And so it's a skill that you have to develop. So in the next time I ask you, please guess the meaning of the word. Don't use your dictionary. I know that some of you did. I told you who I thought did. But try not to. So here's one of the vocabulary words, procedures. And the sentence from the book was, the plane did not follow proper landing procedures. So if you had to guess, go ahead and type in the chat box. If you had to guess what the meaning of procedures are, what would you say? And let's type in the chat. Rules, methods, instructions. Good. Very good. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Surin Ratwaite, a veteran pilot who studies plane incidents, tells us most plane crashes happen when there is bad communication and decision making. What do you think the word incident means? Not disaster. I wouldn't say disaster. I would say maybe situation, Maybe accident, can be an accident. Sometimes it's not an accident. But a plain incident, something that happens. Okay, good. All right, here's the third one. Oh, there's three here. So number one, ultimately, Korea took recognition of the crashes and made changes such as communicating under one language. So here the word is recognition. In this case, recognize, okay. Another I wouldn't say determination, recognize is good, or acknowledge that they were responsible for the crashes. And they made changes to their system. Yeah, acknowledgement, very good. Identified the crashes. Well, they took ownership of the crashes. They said, yeah, it was our fault, knowing. Okay, let's look at this one. Now you should be able to do this one because we've talked about mitigation. Mitigation is when one is ashamed or is deferential to authority. Now, in this case, the definition of mitigation is right here. Oh my gosh, undo. The definition of mitigation is right here. So all you need to do is say, okay, mitigation, when you have the be verb, it means equal. So this is your definition right here. Can you guys see how that works? How easy that is? Sometimes you can find the answer so easily in the sentence. So the definition for mitigation is when you are deferential to authority, when you're ashamed of something, or when you don't say what you really mean, when you go around what you want to say, out of respect, perhaps. Okay, the last one is this one. Ever since 1999, Korea has been deemed one of the safest airline locations in the world. In this case, what do you think deemed means? Consider is okay, accepted. Has been known, named, good, very good. So you can see that they took responsibility for their lack of communication and they ended up being great communicators. So I'm not going to do this activity with you because we spent a lot of time on the other one. But let's take a look at what's happening this week because there's not much. Let me go to the class and courses. Let's see how I get in here now that I'm in the student mode. I don't know what's going on here with my screen, sorry. And then I have to go to student view. Here we go. All right. So listen up carefully. Let me see how many people are here. Let me stop sharing for a second because I need to do the screenshot. I think everybody's here now. Yeah. Let me grab the screenshot. Okay. So I want to say that this is a wonderful class and I really am enjoying having all of you and you are all doing very, very well. So that's to start to say, okay, so we have finished this activity with the outliers, chapter 7. There's a review game for you to play because on Wednesday, you have today, is that today? I think that's supposed to be tomorrow. Hold on. Let me go into let me leave the student view. I think that's supposed to be tomorrow.
Ma'am, it is on tomorrow because 19th of October, today is 7th, 18th.
Okay, that's right. It's supposed to be tomorrow. So as long as you're saying it's tomorrow, I'm happy. Okay, so tomorrow, but it says, oh, I see. This is Thursday. This is Wednesday. There's nothing here. Okay, so tomorrow you have a quiz. And of course, this quiz is timed, okay? So you have to take it between 8 and 11. 8 to, oh, it's not PM though. That's AM. So I have to change that. Hold on. I have to fix it so that it's AM. You have 2 hours. No, 3 hours. 3 hours to take the quiz right here. Edit. Let me just change it so that it's 3 hours. from 8 to 11 tomorrow. Yeah, that's not supposed to be 8:15, 11:59 p.m. Supposed to be 11. I changed this so many times. Yeah. We have to be done with everything by tomorrow. All right. Let's go back to student view. It should be right now. All right, yes. So you have, see, it's still saying PM. I'm going to fix it, but you need to take it by 11.
Ma'am, because you didn't add it.
Oh, I didn't save it, huh? All right, let me try again. One more time, third time will work, always. It's right here. Edit. (19th, 11 a.m.) Done.
Ma'am, there's an option add. If you add it, I think it will be
So
sorted
that's
out.
in case somebody misses it and they have to add, let them take it at a different time. Okay, that works, I think. Let's look. Let's just check, make sure it says 11 a.m. Let me go to the student view. All right, let's look. Please say 11 a.m. Yes, okay, you have 3 hours. So you have to take it between 8 and 11. It's a 10-minute quiz, okay, and it's on a vocabulary review. So if you want to do really well, go ahead and play the game, Vocabulary Review Unit 3 first, okay? And the only other thing left to do is your perusal. And you're done. And you have a week's vacation. How's that sound? Yes, I hope you're happy about that. Vacation is good. Take a break from everything, okay? We want you to finish Thursday and be done. And you will not even have to come to the Canvas course until Sunday. I won't show you any possibility of work until Sunday. So any questions for me? I want to
No
say
question.
you're all doing excellent. You have very good, in general, if you're doing the assignments and you're attending the class, you're getting very good grades.
Thank you, Professor, for having you, and have a great weekend.
A good week, right? I get to have a whole week off too, just like you. Okay, if there's nothing else to say, you're good to go. Have a great vacation. And I'll see you in like October 20 something, 28th, 28th?
Yeah, maybe.
29th. Well, we start back on the 29th. But I'll see
Is
you.
our break about a week?
A week. You have a full week. Yes. Take care of the golf balls in your life, not the pebbles.
Okay, so have a nice vacation.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye, Miss.
If you have a question, I'll stay around, but I'm going to stop the recording.